Yeah, hosting the two best teams in our league, starting with Kentucky on Tuesday night and then Florida the next Saturday. Two tremendous challenges for our group, but also tremendous opportunities.
First question is from Matthew Harris of the Baton Rouge Advocate.
Morning, Andy. How are you?
Hey, good morning.
I was going to ask you, you guys seem to do a good job in the second game against Craig Sword of Mississippi State of at least limiting him getting to the foul line and sort of taking that option away from him. Just what's the difference in defending him, or what do you have to do to try and slow him from, creating something off the dribble and getting into the lane and really initiating some contact with guys?
Well, we did do a better job the second time, and our scouting report really did change. He's tremendous at getting the ball to the basket. He's got a great first step, and I think he has a real ability to knife his way through defenders. So we were very, very cognizant of trying to make sure that he was not allowed to split us. We did a better job of keeping him off the foul line by just trying to keep bodies in front of him and making him score over the top.
How do you, in what sort of situations does Mississippi State like to use him? For some of us who haven't seen all their games and haven't seen him sort of operate that way, what are some situations that seem to be optimal for him to get that sort of, head of steam going to the rim and sort of get that angle on guys?
Well, they'll do some things that do give him an angle, allowing him to attack mostly from the wing. He's a great baseline driver, and he has a way of finding bodies. I think he shot 18 free throws against us the first time that we played him in Starkville, just by getting through traffic, creating contact, and being able to finish at the basket.
Thanks so much, Andy.
Next question is from Hugh Kellenberger of the Jackson Clarion Ledger.
Hey, Andy, how are you?
Good morning.
You talked a little bit last week about the difference between Sebus and Jones and their stats in wins and losses, and I guess that kind of continued on Saturday. Is there something in particular teams can do or have done that has hurt them, or is it simply just a matter of sometimes it's there and sometimes it's not?
Well, for us, we've got a pretty inexperienced front line, and I think as it occurs really across the league and across the country, kids that are a little more inexperienced, whether it be because they're freshmen or sophomores or because they've never really played the roles that they're currently holding, they typically play better at home. They're more comfortable at home. They play more confidently, more assertive, and I think that's been the case with our guys. We go on the road and we're not nearly as assertive as we need to be, and as a result, we're not nearly as productive. We've got to take the right approach. We've done that when we've been at home, and we just haven't been able to carry that with us on the road, and as a result, you're well aware of the number differential from a productivity standpoint, home and away, and as a result, we're not having as much success on the road.
Thanks, Andy.
Next up is Perry Shalford of the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal.
Hey, Andy. Cal said in the Lexington game when you guys played that it was anybody's game with 6 minutes left and that basically a couple of runouts and a big shot helped Kentucky get on a roll. Is that how you remembered that game? Did you feel like you guys were really competitive most of the night there?
Well, Cal's pretty diplomatic in that answer. We stayed around for a while. I believe it was a 2 or 3 possession game, maybe to the 10, 12-minute mark of the second half. We couldn't get a rebound, which has really been, kind of a broken record for us, but we just could not get a rebound in the second half. If you remember, I think we had some dead ball rebounds, but the first one that an Ole Miss Rebel got, I believe, was under 2 minutes to go in the second half. So we zoned them quite a bit, and they did not make a three-point shot in the second half, but even the ones that they missed, they got every rebound. I think Willie Cauley-Stein probably played his best game in a Kentucky uniform and just dominated on both ends. And they certainly got some runouts, but they got control of the game at about the 30-minute mark, and, then we were just trying to hold on for dear life.
Thanks.
Our next question is from Jerry Tipton of the Lexington Herald-Leader.
Andy, I'm wondering if I looked at it right, you brought Marshall off the bench in the last game. Why'd you decide to go that way, and how did it work out?
It worked out pretty good. He just really been struggling with his shooting percentages in road games, non-league and SEC. Going into Georgia, he was shooting close to 30% from the floor and less than 25% in the first half. So So I was just trying to do something to maybe change the way that he approached the game, allow him to see it for a few minutes on the bench, and I don't know if that directly affected his performance, but he came out and he made shots. I think he had 14 in the first half on 6 of 8 shooting, something like that. And as a result, we were leading at the half. Second half, he struggled a little bit, and as a result, we came up a possession short. But that was the thinking, just trying to find a winning combination.
And with playing Kentucky and then Florida this week, obviously the two first and second place teams in the league, do you bring up the bubble stuff and the NCAA stuff, or is that just sort of taken for granted that it's going to be out there anyway?
Well, it's out there anyway for sure, but Jerry, we've lost two. We had two heartbreakers last week. Really, our focus is on winning a game, and Kentucky presents the next opportunity to do that on Tuesday night. We know it's going to be a difficult challenge because we've seen that firsthand a couple of weeks ago in Rupp. But for us, it's right now we've lost 2 in a row. We're sitting here at 16-9 through 25. But those 16 seem like a faint memory simply because we hadn't won one in a week. So for us, the focus is just on winning a game.
Thanks.
Question is from Bob Holt of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Hey, Andy, how you doing?
Hey, Bob.
Hey, having played South Carolina a couple times, known Frank Martin as well as you do, just wondering what you thought of their team and the job he's doing rebuilding the program.
Well, I've got tremendous respect for Frank, and we played them twice. We beat them by a grand total of 5. Beat them by 1 at their place in a game that could have gone either way, and we were just fortunate enough to come up with one more possession. And then at our place, we're down 15. They completely controlled the game, and at the time they were on some semblance of a losing streak. I don't think they'd won a game in league play, and Frank had them playing with tremendous poise and toughness, and they really took the fight to us. We had to play probably our best 7 or 8 minutes of basketball of the year down the stretch in order to win that game. And I knew that he was getting close to breaking through. I was happy for him personally to see him break through last week and come up with some big home wins. I know his team is still playing with a lot of intensity. They're like all of us, our margin for error comes down to making a shot here or there, and Frank's doing a great job of getting that program back to where I know they all want it to be.
Is there anything about Thornwell in particular that impresses you?
He's really good. He's a good player. He's big. He's strong. He's really improved his perimeter skills. Initially, I think when he got there, it was about, strength, toughness, work, coming up with some garbage baskets, driving the ball to the hoop. But now he's making three-point shots. I think he's playing with a great deal of confidence, and he's one of the best freshmen in our league.
Thanks.
Our last question is from Mark Weiser of the Athens Banner-Herald.
Hey, Coach. Henderson and Gaines sort of lit it up the other day on the scoreboard, but you guys held Charles Mann to just 2 field goals. How does he impact the game still without big shooting days, and what are your impressions of him? Well,
I thought Kenny Gaines was really good. I think he made 5 threes, and he's not a volume guy. Marshall does what Marshall does. He made it a little better percentage than he'd been doing on the road, and that's what allowed us to stay in the game. But Charles Mann was the key to the game. Our inability to keep him in front of us. I think he averages something like 8 or 9 free throw attempts per game in league play, and he got double digits against us by just his ability to get the ball. He's a big, strong kid, and he has the ability to get that ball in the paint and break you down, whether it be man or zone. And at the end of the game, we switch a ball screen with under 5 to go in the clock, and we've got a freshman on him, and Mann's smart. I don't think he had any intention of shooting that ball. It was all about the shot fake and leaning in, and he made the play.